There, I'm live everywhere. So early morning. Let's get some volume on here. There we go. Let's see if the volume's on here. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Rabbit. It is October 1st on the eve of a solar eclipse. Woohoo! Scary. So, excuse the voice, excuse the rattling. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, rabbit. Yes, it's a rabbit. I'm a wee bit congested today. Whew, feeling very fluish. But today's my Friday, thank goodness. I'm just exhausted. Exhausted. I am, man. 60 is not easy. I'm gonna be 61 this year. Man, I'm just like, okay, I gotta get a different frame of mind of like, yeah, I could do this. I'm young. I could like go for it. And then my body just like, you can't watch this. No, you can't. So, as I say, your body never, ever lies. Your body's always trying to tell you something. And, if you are trying to go like a bull in a china cabinet right now or go full speed ahead, I am sorry. Um, you will be set on your ass. Um, we still have, I mean, the sun is at 9 degrees and Mercury's at 9 degrees in Libra. So this is a Gazini and it's coming off the Gazini. So you got to think of what Mercury is. Mercury is the god of communication. He's coming off of that. So your communications, things, the logic is lost in the heart of the sun. Trying to create something sometimes is going to be extremely difficult. And plus, this is the eve of a new moon solar eclipse. So, I mean, you're thinking darkness on darkness in the dark phases of the moon. So we're in the devil days. So things are very off and feeling very off. And you could be feeling very scattered, especially with the moon opposing Neptune. So that scatteredness, that feeling of trying to, I want to get centered. I want to get I'm trying to get my head together, but still feeling quite off with this. So looking at and being careful that you're not in a self-destructive mood. This isn't a time to do something radical or crazy and you decide that, oh, I'm going to change it all. No, because you're going to regret it. This is a time where people regret doing shit. Like this is a person who goes to Vegas and gambles the house and like, oh shit, I guess I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, right. No, you shouldn't have done it, or thinking grass is so much greener on the other side. Things are better on the other side. No, this is a time to tend your own garden, to tend your own grass and grow it. A lot's been coming up for me and different things that I've been reading and looking at and studying lately. And one of the things, one of many things, is about feeling somebody else has something better than you. We all get it. I mean, I know some people say, "Oh, I never get that." Like, fuck off. Yes, you do. We all get it. We all think that, "Oh my god, you see this and you're like, "Oh, look at they got it all together. Oh my god, I wish I had it too." And blah blah blah. And you go off into some kind of frenzy and thinking that is better. That grass is look at they just have it all together. But there's a reason where you are, right? There's times when you see somebody and they're getting the praise or I get this all the time because being a projector is not easy. A projector is somebody who's there to lead, to help others, especially manifestors, everybody else, to help other people. But with being a projector, there's also the feeling or the lack of, right? So looking at, well, why did they get the accolades? Why are they getting everything? Why is everything working out for them, right? So you really have to watch, and especially right now with the sun in Libra, the moon's just finishing up in Virgo, going into Libra for this new moon. Really watching how our thoughts are, right? Because we're all under this pressure. We're all in these layers. There's layers, of how we are being, how we are, what we are wanting to do. And excuse me, you might be feeling a lot of the obstacles. You might feeling a lot of the overwhelmness. And this is where it's like, okay, I got to take a step back. I really have to center myself and really look at and say, it really isn't that bad. Things could be a lot worse, definitely. But this is where it's like, okay, what am I really wanting to create? And giving that up to a higher power. Now, I always say give it up to the Holy Spirit and ask for inner peace and a miracle. For many, it could be giving your giving it up to your angels, giving it up to your goddess, whomever you feel like I need this help, I need this guidance, and allowing ourselves to tend what we need to tend within our own selves. And that's so important because there's so many, as I say, if you're starting to worry about what other people think, right? There's 10,000 views of you, of what other people think and what they think you should be doing or what you should be saying, and how you should look or how you should dress. And so all of these views, all of this about your reputation is out there. But the only one that counts is the one that you have with your connection with your divine. And that's so powerful with this energy that's coming in with astrology. It's saying connect with the higher power, connect with your divine, trust in your heart and your centeredness that you're being led, you're being guided upon this road. And you can look over to the other roads and say, "Oh, look at, well, she has a golden chariot. Look at all her. She didn't do fuck all to get that." you know, and that's where you can get lost. That's where you could get where the feeling of lack can come in to your own life. And that's not where the energies really want you to go, because a lot of destruction is happening in this world and it has to happen. This destruction and these fallings of the world around us right now, and all the walls that are falling down, have to happen. This crumbling is needed in order for us to create something wonderful and beautiful. That's why it's so important for us to tend what we need to tend, because in creating that beautiful grass, right? Just think, if I create one and you create one and you create one, it's just, it brings in such a beautiful community, brings in this connection. And especially when we are going in with the latter parts of the astrology. So when we have with Pluto going, when he will go back into Aquarius for the next 20 years in November, we're in the 11th house, right? So he's going to be there for the 11th house. It's about really creating something of substance, really creating that community, really coming into that divineness, right? And yes, it's a lot of theology and a lot of, newness that are coming in. That's when the Constitution of the United States was written, was when Pluto was in Aquarius. It wasn't written on 1776. It was written several years after. And then they had debates over it, right? And that's the thing, is like, that's what we're going to be finding, is that newness is coming in. And within that newness, there's going to be debates. People aren't going to agree with everything. I mean, here in Alberta, there's parts of our constitution that's going to be changing, that she wants to add. Not everybody agrees with it, which is fine. But being able to be heard and be debated is important. And that's all part of this. So when we are tending ourselves and making ourselves stronger, we're able to stand up and allow our light to shine, and not thinking that we are better or less than anyone else. And this new moon, it is an eclipse. So remember, part of this eclipse is that, and especially being the south nodes aren't as strong as the north nodes. So south node is like reflecting the last 6 months, what has gone on within your life the last 6 months. So we go back to the new moon that was in Aries 6 months ago. What were you creating? What was going on within your world? What fell away? What are you trying to hang on to that is no longer viable? That's not working. And sometimes because our ego steps into this and we think, no, I have to hang on to this because this is part of my identity. This is what I created. But in comes this energy, this our God, our goddess, and saying, sorry, honey, it's not in your alignment anymore. I'm taking you on a different direction. I'm wanting to create something better for you. You just don't know it yet. Isn't that always the way? And we may not know exactly what it is, but that's okay. We have to trust. We got to trust in this frustration and embracing it. We have Mars slowing down. He's not in shadow yet. He's, he's like going really slow. And when this is where he will be heading into a shadow. And then once he's in his shadow, he'll start to retrograde. And his retrograde will be happening in December. This is where right now we might be feeling we can't get going. We can't get, that our pedals on the our it's like I see us like on a bike and our pedals are just like and we're really going nowhere, right? So this is okay. Well, maybe I have to change gears. Maybe I have to really put things in a different perspective. And in doing that, that means I have to stop and get off the freaking bike and stop trying to pedal, right? And stop trying to go somewhere. So just look at things that are going on in your life. If things aren't working, there's going to be a reason for it. If things are falling apart and you feel like they're falling apart, they have to fall apart in order for them to get better. In order for you to actually see all those pieces of the so-called puzzle. But you got to know that your divine, God, the goddess, they know how the puzzle goes together. They created the puzzle because they created you. So trust in that, because that's what's going to lead you to a better place. That's where it's going to lead you to something of more substance. Yeah, it's frustrating right now. It's overwhelming. It's scary as fuck right now. And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, that's over there. That's not going to affect me. Anything that happens affects us all, right? In some way, it comes back and it affects us all. So, no, there's layers of pressure on all of us, and this is evolutionary. And we just got to keep going. Excuse my nose. Excuse my my voice right now. But yeah, exhaustion is there for me. I know there's a lot that's happening within my own self, within my own what I thought I created is needing to be let go. But the thing is, like, a lot of times you already know you've had to let go of something, but for whatever reason, you haven't. You're hanging on to it. For whatever reason, you feel this is what I need to do. I need to keep this going. But maybe you don't. Maybe it's okay to say, you know what? I'm letting this go. I'm going to create something different. I'm going to allow for the guidance to come in and show me, and allow for the information, the inspiration to come in. And listen to it, because sometimes it'll come in and you're like, oh no, that's stupid. I don't want to do that. I don't feel that's the right thing. But here it's trying to show you it is. So trust in that. It's a hard one. And this is taking down the ego, right? This is dismantling past ways of thought and belief systems that are no longer working within ourselves and within our society. And that's a big one. That's a hard one, right? Because we are all by the age of 9, what we believe and our thoughts and things. A lot of everything that that makes us has been infused within us between the ages of 0 and 9. Good, bad, and ugly. And then after that, that's what we have to start dismantling. I'm like, oh, that really didn't fit with me, or that really, or that really did align with me. Let me go back to that, right? What did I cultivate? What did I create? So, yeah. So let's pull some cards. Woo! So yeah, the star jumped out, but it's reversed. So this is where, you're trying to hang on to things, trying to hang on to what yeah, this is major. This is the way it wants to be. But the star, which comes after the tower, is telling you there's still stuff to be rebuilt. There's still stuff we need to do. It's not going to be picture perfect. It's not going to be this beautiful, rosy, elegant world that you are wanting. There's going to be a lot of work. So you got to think, after 1530 with King Henry VIII, there was still a world to be rebuilt after him, right? There was still a time of trying to create, trying to bring something, new to the land, right? And same in after the Revolutionary War or even the Civil War. There were things that we need to create and we have to do. Now, the one thing, and I'm going to bring in Canada and our chart aligning with our prime minister, there are things here that in Canada we avoided in building. And this is our time. This is coming in, and we have a person that we don't like, most majority, and we don't like him. Is the thing is that trying to show us what is it truly that you want to rebuild, because he's showing you everything that you don't want to rebuild. So this is the reason he's there. There's a reason why we have these crazy tyrant assholes as leaders right now. And you can complain and bitch and whatever you want, because I do too. It's like, but still, there's something there that's showing you, well, I don't want that. Well, then what do you want? And start focusing on what do you want? What does it mean to have no carbon tax? What does that look like? What does it mean to be in more harmony with the rest of Canada or even the rest of the world? What does that mean? We also have a prime minister that has done nothing to protect the people and the citizens of Canada. What does it mean to have protection? What does that look like? Sorry. Some of us might go, it's like, well, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. Well, then the only one you're going to be hurting is yourself, and that's with that. And comes the tower. So there's destruction. There's destruction that's coming in. Hey, happy October, rabbit. There's destruction, but this isn't to be feared. I mean, I know everybody's like, I don't want the tower. But the tower comes in to show you that there's a dismantlement that needs to be happening, and we have to trust in it. There will be something greater that we're going to build with this, right? And with that, it's just that we have to look at what we have to tend. Don't try and escape the things that need to be tended to, because in escaping them or abandoning them are just going to be worse. And that's not what we want. We want to create a better and more harmonious world. One more card. Yeah. We might be feeling that we don't have the strength. So, hey guys, we're all in the same boat. We all there. Maybe it's time just to bring the oars up, take a big, deeper breath, and say, okay, let's just take a moment and let's come together and let's breathe. And let's just come back into that harmonious way in what we need for our guidance. So, the latest promise to his bum buddy Zelly to provide endless support should make people see his intentions. Oh, definitely. But it's so funny. Not funny, haha, but it is funny because when I look at the astrology, it's like he's gonna still something. Yeah, there's been some really big bombs that have been hitting um Ottawa right now, right? And this is where the transformation and change has to happen. But Canada and we as people, or even, for the world, we have to be careful. We have to really, we don't want to jump the gun. We have to come in with direct purpose and alignment and our divineness and our light in order to create the positivity. Thinking that things are better on the other side. Don't get fooled by that. Don't get fooled by that. because this is the time where we need to tend what we need to tend to in our own personal life in order for us to create what needs to be tend to out there. And that's so important because of the pressures and the changes that are happening. October, September was the starting. October is going to be wild, man. It's going to be wild. Putin was actually rushed to the Kremlin last night. So, and the prime minister of this is news people don't get. The prime minister of of Russia. There's a prime minister. The prime minister of Russia is in Iran right now talking. So there are talks going on right now in Iran. And I mean, I didn't want to anyways, we don't know all what the United States has as weapons and everything else. We don't know what Russia has, and so there's a lot of things that we don't have. But there are, happenings that are going on right now that are very high escalating. I mean, the Russian government and Putin have changed uh, the nuclear war or the nuclear act, like because they said you guys broke it, we're making our own. And so they've basically rewritten it and said if they have the right to utilize certain weapons if they feel threatened or attacked, whether that is a um, nuclear country or not. So basically, if they want, they can use that on Ukraine. But this is where it's coming back into us standing into the light. I mean, this is all of this destruction that has to happen is this awakening of things that need to be changed from our open borders and allowing where thinking that multiculturalism and all of this and we can all blend together and we can all live together in harmony and sing kumbaya is coming to a realization of saying no, there's people have different viewpoints, different values, and those values aren't being respected or viewed. And this is really making a disharmony within a lot of people. And the other part too is that a rebuilding of things has to happen. And it doesn't. The thing is, if and this is partially of some of the things I wanted to talk about tomorrow night on my fireside, but people are jumping the gun and thinking. I'm not saying not to. Okay, this is how do I say? I'm not saying not to, but thinking the other person, whether it's Trump, whether it's Pierre Polyette, is better, right? There's still an agenda that is being played out. That even it's already in play. They have to go with what has been put out, right? The performance has started. They have to continue with that performance and however it's going to outcome. Now, there's a reason. There's a reason for certain things, and you got to understand political play and how the political parties work, right? There is always something at play. It's a chess move, right? So there's a chess move that's happening right now of political playing, of how things are being played out. Now, it's also where it's like if I can make this as horrible, and this is the way people are. If I make this really bad, now I'm gonna give it to you to fix. Now the blame is gonna go on you. It's not gonna go back on me because everybody's gonna forget what I did, and that's crucial in understanding. That's why people like Putin, um, Xi Ying or whatever his name is, and Rocket Boy, no, they've been in power for a long time, right? They understand the play. There's, people, I mean, to oust them or get rid of them or whatever, it's very difficult to do that. You know, um, Certain leaders of that have done really well for their people, right? Where the propaganda that you've been fed about Russia, I'm not saying, Putin's not exactly, let's go for coffee, buddy, kind of guy. I mean, like, don't fuck around with him. But in everything that he's done, he's put back to the people. All the resources, when he sells it, goes back to his country, to rebuilding, because he came from the Soviet bloc. He came from there. He knows what it's all about, but he knows how to rule it. And he knows, like, you know what? I'm not going to put up with some shit. But do you know there's no homeless people actually in Russia? They may not have a fabulous home, but they have a home. He makes sure of that. Right? So there's something to be said. Yeah, there's freedom of choice. But what does that freedom of choice get you? Is it really freedom of choice that they're giving you? Because when I look at the astrology, things are always played out. And when I say to people, there really isn't a freedom of choice. Everything is in play the way it needs to be played. Yes, we can make decisions and little things like that. But on a grander scheme, there is a bigger play that's going on, and that's happening right now. And as it is turning, many of us get scared. Oh my God, I don't want this. I don't want this. I'm just saying, fuck, let's get into this. Let's get it done. Right? 2025 and 2026 are going to be the huge transformational years. And I know there's a lot lovely little sparkly fairies out there that are like, that's going to be wonderful. Okay. But anybody who's gone through a spiritual change in their life, or evolution in their life, it's not going to be easy. This is like huge reconstruction that's going to be happening. Dismantlement. Like right now, Pluto in Capricorn is getting you to look at shit that you didn't want to look at. Nobody wanted to look at the Diddy shit. People stood by and watched it for years. They didn't want to see it at all. They don't want to know that their favorite political leader might have been Diddy and in the did whatever, That's the scary part. But there's people, all of that has to come up. Doesn't mean it's totally going to go away, right? I mean, evil's going to be at play in some way in the world. That's just the way it is. But how much control it is allowed to have is another one. And right now, that control has been given over to that darkness, to that negativity. And it's been given over there for a long time. And this buildup that's been happening over the last, we can go 500 years, we can go 1,000 years, is now dismantling. Those belief systems that are there that you thought were true, the religions that are there are going to be starting to change and dismantle. The ones that you thought, oh, well, this doesn't look so bad. I mean, Saturn in Pisces, yeah, brings people back to God. It does. Brings people back to where there is, where they can find where there's boundaries, there's structure, because that's what people want. People want structure. They want community. They're looking for that. Pluto coming back into Aquarius, I mean, is going to bring in new communities, new ideas, new structures. And this is where it's like, okay, when you look at who's going to win, the good and the bad, it's going to play out. It's going to play out. And whoever comes out ahead, that's the frequencies, those are the energies that are going to be at play for the next couple thousand years, and having those dismantlements. So this is coming in with exactly eyes wide open, coming in with eyes wide open, understanding not everybody's good, right? Not everybody's good. And being in the mall is just such an eye opener, because the mall The people in the mall are not the same as when I first worked in the mall back in 2007, 2008. No, totally changed. Even when I was working in the mall, I don't know, was it 2012 or something like that? And it just like totally has changed and what I'm seeing. And it's not good. It really is not good. It's fucking scary. And this is where people have to wake up because not everybody's going to like you. And that's the realization. Where we come from a society, we were raised to like people. We were raised to be in harmony with people. We were raised to be acceptance of people. Not everybody's like that. And that's a hard one when you're coming into, say, the Christ conscious. Well, we gotta love everybody. Yeah, I can love you. Doesn't mean I have to like you. I'm not going to set destruction upon you, but I'm not putting up with your bullshit. That's boundaries. There's a reason why kings of old have fought certain people, and I can't say it here on public media, for thousands of years. There's a reason they fought, because they knew what they were wanting to bring in was corruption and change and chains upon the other people. When people start looking into history and they start really realizing it, what came after Christ 579 years ago, people like go on about Constantine. Okay, you can go on about Constantine, the shit he did, and the creation of the church and blah blah blah, but there was a change that happened there that wasn't. When you look at the early Christians, weren't out killing people, weren't out extorting children. But what came 579 years, and look into that because I can't say it on here, but it was 579 years. I think it was 579 that came after and started a new one of somebody who loved 9-year-old girls and the disruption of that. And that's what's wanting to come in and to do the creation. That's why you have things like the Diddy shit coming up. It's getting people to realize, oh, that's bad. We can't have that. Well, you think that's bad? You should see what else is happening over here. Wait, we got to wake up. That's part of the dismantlement. That's part of the awakening. But people don't want to see it. But they're going to see it. They're going to see it big time. You think Christmas is going to be ho-hum? You know, yay, let's go get together. Christmas is not going to be the way Christmas is. That's why I'm looking at these retail things and people are like, oh, yeah, spending all this money. And I'm just like, holy shit, are you spending money on credit card debt? You think things are going to be great? Lauren, yeah. Why do they wear certain outfits at the age of 9? Wake up call. When I start seeing certain people that all I can see is their eyes walking around the fucking mall, I'm like, where do I live? I'm sure in the hell ain't in Canada anymore. Because to see someone's face, to talk to somebody, that's a connection. To be able to look into somebody's eyes and see their full face is a huge connection. That's building community. Hiding somebody, pushing them away, dressing in black is darkness. You know? So bringing in that divineness, bringing in that beauty. And even when you look into certain saints or goddesses that have stood around, it's like they stood the test of time. They weren't going nowhere because they knew that we needed. Say Bridget is a wonderful example. I love her. She was a Irish goddess. She's a triple goddess. She's recognized. They brought her in. They sort of, okay, we got to bring this woman into Catholicism some way, right? Because She has this power. She's there for the triple goddess. She's there for the mother. She's there for the woman who cannot bear a child. She's there to create, and she works with Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael goes back to Babylon. Actually, they have things. They have writings about the name in Babylonian of Michael, the god Michael. Well, hey, this guy is like a fierce god. Let's make him an archangel and keep him around, keep him around, right? Because he fights evil. He steps on the heads of serpents. You know, you look at, even the power of the Virgin Mary. I mean, they look at Mary. Mary is taken from what happened with Eve, and she is brought into the fullness, the divineness, this beautiful woman, and her education. Look into her lineage. She was a very well educated 16-year-old girl. She could read, she could write, she understood the Old Testament and the Torah. She understood it. Her family lineage really goes back even to the powers that be, and bringing in that power. Same with Mary Magdalene and the connection to the different goddesses that are with her. Now, these powerful women are there for us to access. Of course, they really belittle or try to belittle, because we live in a patriarchal system. We have lived in a patriarchal system for over 20,000 years. They ended the goddess many, many moons ago. But why? And then you go back, and this is the other part too, is that you go and you listen to the trans whatever coming in, and they're wanting to take away the power of the woman, the power of the feminine identity. Well, you can tell me what a man is, but you can't tell me what a fucking woman is. Give me a break. you know that is a dismantlement there, to continue to keep a certain agenda going, right? We wake up. Then we say to ourselves, "Oh my God, how can I what can I do? Oh my God, this is so much. This is." We start looking. Okay, what can I do within my own life? How can I tend my garden? How can I tend my grass? How can I create things? Because things are going to get really cray cray. So in attending myself, that means I got to make myself stronger, spiritually, physically, mentally. I have to teach what I need to teach. I need to connect with whom I need to connect with, and spread it that way. And that's how the movement starts, and that's how we go forward. And it's sometimes feeling like your head's going to explode, or like it's way too much for you to really handle. But this is allowing ourselves to come together in okay, good, thank you. In perfect harmony and connection is so important, because as everything, there's always a reason for everything happening, right? There's a reason why things get held, or things aren't going the way that you would like them to go in perfect harmony. And there's a part where it is that divine, that God, that goddess is saying, you know what, you got to hold tight right now. We got a plan. Don't worry. I know it feels kind of crazy, but we got a plan. But you got to understand that there's certain things that are going on that you really have to be aware of. And if you're not aware of it, if you're not paying attention to it, I'm sorry, we're going to just have to slap you in the ass to wake you the fuck up. And a lot of people are going to. A lot of people won't want to accept it, right? They won't want to accept it. They want to focus on something other that seems a little bit easier. But nah. So tomorrow evening, what I wanted to do is go on Google Meet, because then we can see each other and talk. And that was my main reason for doing tomorrow evening. And just to go into understanding things that are coming up. And it's difficult because we are wanting to care about other people. We are wanting to love one another, right? We are really, we want to be accepting, you know? But again, it's like, yeah, why am I accepting that in when it's not in my alignment, when it doesn't, come, it's just bringing more heartache and evil into it. If you go back to Iran and you look at pictures in Iran in the 70s, even the 60s, you would not, you wouldn't realize um, that it's the Iran today. So that's the whole thing. It's um, some of my things that I can see will be happening between now and March and April of next year, and some of them aren't are hard to see and hard to look at. And but I see what's happening on the other side. I see what's coming in. And it's funny they keep on saying Agenda 2030 of what they want for 2030 is not the agenda that is in the alignment. Yeah, we're coming into change and everything that's going on, but how, the 2030 agenda with the electric cars and everything else. The hurricane right now, there are electric cars that are on fire underneath the ocean of the water that just came in. And they they can't stop the fire. And the corrosion and all what's in them is going off into them. I mean, this is like, oh fuck. This is like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't a good thing that we need. Maybe it's not electric cars that we need. No, no shit. Right? But it's not exactly, we have to do something maybe a little different with our combustion engines and how we consume things. Definitely. Definitely. There's change that has to be happening there. There, people think, oh, wind farms are great. Are they? Really? I was just listening to a First Nations that they're so happy that they just got a huge wind farm on their property. I'm like, who the fuck did you just sell out to? That's my first thought was like, what? Who did you just sell out? Yeah, it did. What I think it's in Carolina, Northern Carolina. Um, and it also cleared out. I mean, but they did that again because I saw it on TikTok too. But I kind of knew about it in 1947 when another hurricane went through a similar pathway because they dropped dry ice down the center. I mean, you got to think, people, the shit that they can do. All right. Some of it's like, oh, it's just a hurricane. No, there's planes flying above. Right now, we got another asteroid flying around the earth, right? And that's kind of like, and then it leaves again. Like it comes in and then it leaves again. And they know when it's going to leave. They know when it's going to come. The president, one of the presidents, I mean, he made a deal, supposedly, with aliens, right? And so I honestly believe that that's a spaceship. Fuck. That ain't that's they're from the one that came in 2019. No, that's not the mothership. The mothership came in 2019 when the Google quantum computer was turned on. And that was if I could say the word Wahoo. It's a Hawaiian name. Um, that came in, and it was a huge one. And one of the scientists from NASA said that is a ship. And then it disappeared in 2022. Yeah, and there are different minor CERNs and stuff like that. You have NORAD that goes off too. So there's a lot that's that's A lot of fuckery that is happening, right? But then you wonder, why are these certain alien ships coming in at this time? Because they know they're like, okay, these humans are doing fuckery right now. And we need to start taking a look at what the shit that they do, because it's fine when people say, "Oh, well, let's go land on the moon and do this and this and this and this is okay." Maybe the moon's an alien thing, but the moon's been in our atmosphere for 30 million years. So have they been up there for 30 million years? I don't know, but you know, I mean, the moon's been charted by our ancestors for millions of years, or we haven't even been here for millions, but since man's been on Earth, so because the polarities, the gravity, the pole, and how things are moving. I love people, but it's there are certain things that happen on Earth. If you read the Old Testament, I mean, it's some of the stuff is like, what the fuck is going on? Hey, that's an alien. You read some of it, you're like, okay, this is just really fucking weird. Some of the stuff that was written um thousands of years. And then this is going back how many tens of thousands of years? And you look at it, you think Solomon building all of that shit? It's like, hold on, who did you get to build all this shit? With a lot of things. So, I mean, so I feel like there's something there that's coming in that's taking a look at, okay, these guys are pushing the agenda a little bit too far, you know, from whatever happened with Atlantis or the Lemurians. I mean, we've come to certain powers at certain times, right? But it's all been dismantled. And we've had where, the funny thing is in Rome, when Rome was falling, they had huge distractions. They had these huge uh in the Colosseums where people, oh, come, it's free. Come watch this. Don't look that your society's falling apart. We're pulling out of England right now because we can't afford this shit anymore and leaving everything behind, right? So this is where you see the dismantlement. I mean, even with the formation of how Europe was formed and things falling and crashing and burning, and something new has to be rebuilt. And here we're at, another crashing and burning and having to be rebuilt. So if you're interested, please send me a DM. I saw Charlene's interested. It is $25. It'll be at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. And yeah, it'll be on Google Meet. So if you are interested, please let me know. I can send you a link. If you want to do an e-transfer, it's thegubermama@gmail.com. If you want to do it by Visa, MasterCard, I can send you a link, but just let me know, please. The other thing, everybody's new moon readings will be coming out tomorrow morning. All right. I will not be doing them today. I work till 9:30 tonight, so things won't come out till tomorrow during the day. Okay. So sending you guys out so much blessings. May the Lord Almighty watch over and bless each and every one of you and all that you say and all that you do. Have a blessed day, and just continue to let your light shine, man. Let your light shine.